Everyone who struggles with depression will tell you how hard it is to wake up every morning and let alone get something done. And besides the fact that it is hard to get up and do anything, when you finally get the courage to do something, you're met with a long list of things that you didn't do because you're depressed. And now it takes you to this never-ending cycle of feeling bad about the work, about not doing your work, and then not doing your work because you feel bad. And it goes on and on and on. And I, for one, have experienced those slumps that come with depression, not being able to wake up and get out of bed, not being able to do anything really because of how much you don't feel like living or how sad you feel. These are all normal things, I guess, to go through as somebody who's depressed. And even when you first start getting treatment for depression, one of the things they will tell you at the start is get one thing done or get into a routine and all those things. And I've always tried to do that, but it is really, really hard when you're at that point in your depression where getting out of bed is practically impossible, and even doing things with joy and life is really difficult. And I remember feeling like that a couple years ago, and luckily with the help of treatment and also just other resources online that really helped me when it comes to managing my depression as far as long-term goals, aside from getting help, obviously. And I came across a guy named Jake Tyler, and he has a TEDx talk titled "I'm Fine." I think that's what it's called, and it's about what it's like to live every day as somebody who battles depression and suicide. And I really resonated with a lot of what Jake Tyler had to say. And his TED Talk, basically, he talks about how he spent a whole year, I think it is, hiking every mountain and just, trying to keep some physical movement going. And eventually hiking became a way for him to manage his depression. And the general idea around this TED Talk was, I think, finding something that you enjoy and doing it regularly enough so that it becomes a thing that helps you to keep going. As someone who lives with depression, this TED Talk helped me to be able to see that thread in my life of things that I enjoy doing and find them and keep on doing it. And for me, productivity is a gateway to doing the things that I love. And you've probably seen me talk about productivity quite a bit on this channel. Some people maybe are wondering if this is a new thing I'm into, but really it's something that I've always been into. When I came across Jake Tyler's video, and as well as therapy, these two ideas working together, therapy and Jake Tyler's video, helped me reach a point in my life where I started to see the things that I enjoyed doing, the things that helped me keep on going. And that was around the time I also started using the bullet journal, and how I came across bullet journaling, which was, the bullet journal helped me feel like I was getting stuff done, and it was really helpful, but it wasn't enough to completely motivate me. And I find myself, and I still find myself, and found myself then falling off of that system often. And eventually I came to realize that bullet journal, calendar, Notion, productivity, everything that I use to keep me going is not the end in itself, but it is simply a means to an end. And for me, that end, that productivity helps me build habits so that my life isn't governed by how I'm feeling. And so those habits help me to do the things I'm obligated to do every day, things that every human being, depressed or not, you are supposed to be doing, like showing up for your work, going to school, and showing up in all your relation obligations as well. And productivity helps me do all of those things, and all those productivity tools help me do those things. But more than anything, they also help me to intentionally make time to do the things that I love. And one of the things I love the most in this world is creating anything, not just YouTube videos, but anything that helps me start something and finish it and see what I have done. And I use productivity as a means to an end, really. And the end is doing the things that I enjoy, doing the things that I love the most, doing the things that make me feel like, okay, my life is worth living for. There is something that I am, there's things that are bringing me joy around me apart from how I'm feeling at the moment. So productivity, in a nutshell, helps you make room for the things I love, whether making new stuff, reading random articles online, taking courses on Skillshare, catching up with a friend I love over a cup of coffee. All of these things are things that when I leave, after having done those things, I leave feeling like, oh my gosh, like life can be good. Life is beautiful. Life is worth living for. And I really, really do appreciate productivity for that, the place it has in my life. As somebody who lives with depression, productivity has become not just about getting stuff done for capitalism's sake, but rather staying alive and making the most, making my life somewhat of a pleasant place to be in, and it has been helping me. And so productivity is not the end goal in itself, but the end goal is to be more efficient so I get the things I'm obligated to do out of the way so that I can have time to do the things or be with the people that bring me the most joy. Or the way, Jake Tyler puts it in his TED Talk, where he says, these are the things that make me think, wow, I don't want to die, I want to live forever. And productivity really helps me to manage my time so that I'm making time for all those things that make me want to live. And not to say it solves all my problems, because hashtag toxic productivity is a real thing, but it really has helped me. It really has helped me to get up in the morning without having to think about it, because I just must get up. It's helped me to make space for friends, family, creating, and sitting around with a book in hand and just enjoying that book, and all the things that really I love doing and pump me up to keep on going. And as much as my journey with mental health is far from over, and it is hard to keep going most of the times, but I'm grateful for the process, and to have more than one thing that gives me the will to live is something that I do not take for granted. And May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I wanted to contribute to this conversation around mental health by making a video about the things that keep me going and how I manage and cope as somebody who lives with depression. And I know that everybody's different, so the things that work for me won't necessarily work for other people. I've talked to a lot of my friends who are in the same boat, and productivity apps really harm them than they do help them. But this is just one thing that's helped me, and I want to ask you for this week being Mental Health Awareness Month. I want to ask you if you could contribute to the conversation by sharing what are some of the things that help you cope with your mental health and help you have a somewhat mentally healthy life. You can let me know in the comment section below, or on Twitter and social media. You can also use the hashtag Mental Health Awareness Month to follow what other people are having, the conversations other people are having around mental health. I do believe it normalizes things when we start to talk about it, because more so during a pandemic and after what 2020 and 2021 have been, we all need to be more proactive around normalizing, hey, it's okay to be depressed, and to kind of share what it is that helps us, because it was through other people talking about what helps them that I found something that helps me and gives me the ability to keep on going even as I manage my mental illness. And so let me know on social media or in the comment section below just some of the things that bring you life and joy and help you to keep on going. I will leave my social media details in the description box below. I will also be leaving the link to Jed Tyler's TED Talk if you'd like to check that out, and just a few resources that have been helpful in my journey with mental health. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps go a long way as far as more people coming across the things we're doing on this channel. But more than anything, I would really love to hear from you. And thank you so much for watching this video. Until the next video, you have yourself a good week.